Let's take a look at the military front lines in this conflict. How has it changed? And if the Russian goal has been to take over Ukraine, just how has that actually progressed on the ground? Because the reports clearly indicate that the Russian army has received a huge setback over and over again, yet they are much larger than Ukrainian armed forces. So let's bring up this map and take a look firstly at what took place when this all started late last month. Let's have that up full screen, please, so that we can actually show you the areas where the Russian invasion started taking place. Let's move to the next screen and point out the areas where on the 24th of February, as you can see, the areas where Russia started advancing. Kharkiv, then the Luhansk and Donetsk area, and other areas as well. Now let's move to this image. This is actually of the 4th of March. Over here on this image, you can actually see how that front line has shifted. More territory has been taken over by the Russians, not all of it, but that's broadly the military front line. Now let's take a look more specifically on the next page to what exactly the situation is on the 7th of March, when you'd be actually able to see some of the changes which have taken place. So let's go full screen on the 7th of March, and the areas that we've actually circled are areas where there have been changes on the 7th of March on the ground position line between what you saw earlier on the 4th of March. Now let's move to the next page. The next page gives you an idea of the situation on the 12th of March. And again, let's have that up full screen so that you can see over here further changes which have taken place. These changes appear to be small. That's because beyond the Kiev, Kharkiv belt and Mariupol in the south, the actual progress in terms of kilometers has been fairly limited. As you can see over there, that is what the actual ground position is at this stage. So Kiev hasn't been taken over, Kharkiv hasn't been taken over. Further south, there are areas where the Russians appear to be having much more of a say. There are several key weapons which have been deployed on the Ukraine front. We've not really focused on these earlier on, but the fact that there are, for example, several ballistic missile attacks on Ukrainian territory by the Russians, it means we should actually take a look at the ISKANDER ballistic missile. It has a range of up to 500 kilometers. What you see on your screen now is actually another one of the weapons we are talking about. It's a 3M14 KALIBR land attack cruise missile. It has a range of up to 2,500 kilometers. Then what you see next on your screen is the TOS-1. Now this is a particularly lethal weapon system. It is a heavy flamethrower. It has a range of 6 kilometers, but it fires thermobaric warheads, which are unguided rockets, which cause a great deal of devastation. The Russians also employ the T-90 main battle tank and the T-72 BM-3 battle tank. These continue to take a lot of hits because of what Ukraine has been fighting them with. And in terms of Ukraine, they've been targeting Russian armored formations with this, the Bayraktar TB2 drone. It's a Turkish drone. It can remain airborne for as much as 27 hours. And then infantrymen and women from the Ukraine are firing the JAVELIN anti-tank guided missile. It has a range of up to 4 kilometers. It's been taking on Russian tanks and armored weapons. They've also been using the next generation light anti-tank weapon, or NLAW, which has a range of up to 800 meters. And finally, the Russians, even as we approach day 20 of the conflict, haven't been able to have air superiority over the skies of the Ukraine. One of the reasons, this weapon system being used by Ukraine, being supplied by the West, the Stinger surface-to-air missile, which has a range of up to 8 kilometers. This has successfully taken out many Russian helicopters.